Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good day we bid to our beloved lecturer and fellow friends. We are from Group 7 of CCFM 2061 Section 27. My name is Muhaimin bin Kamaruzaman. Today my friends and I will be presenting about the topic understanding child development. Without any hesitation, let's move into the next slide. Here are the list of our group members, which consist of 3 students. And here are the contents of our presentation. We will start with the definition of child development, which also consists of the age and stage of child. Next, it is the criteria of child development. After that, we will look into the importance of understanding child development. Beyond that, we will discuss about the negative effects of abandoning child development. Last but not least, we will finalize our presentation in the conclusion. First, let's go through the definition of child and child development. Based on Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary, child can be defined as a young human being who is not yet an adult. Next, United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child, or UNCHR, defines a child as every human being below the age of 18 years unless under the law applicable to the child, majority is attained earlier. Moving on to the definition of child development. Child development can be explained as the sequence of physical, language, thought and emotional changes that occur in a child from birth to the beginning of adulthood. During this process, the child progresses from dependency on their parents, guardians, to increasing independence.
Now we go to the age and the stages of child. From birth until 28 days is newborn, 1 to 12 months is infant, 1 to 3 years is toddler, 3 to 5 years is early childhood, 5 to 11 years is school age, 11 to 12 years is pre-adolescent or late childhood, 12 to 21 years is adolescent.
Jumping on to the 5 criteria of child development, these criteria must be often observed to ensure a healthy growth of a child physically, mentally, and spiritually. Number 1 is the cognition, which consists of the capacity to learn and solve problems. For example, children in kindergarten are given works to solve simple mathematics as a basis for the upper stages in the subject. Second, the social interaction and emotional regulation. This can be examined by their development in self-control and engaging with others. For instance, we can look in how they interact with their friends at school. Third is the speech and language. Inspection of their reading and conversing, as well as comprehending and using language, is the method of monitoring this criteria. For example, we can look into how they speak and the sentence building when they communicate with others. Fourth is the physical skills, which covers on fine motor or finger skills and gross motor or whole body skills. We can observe this criteria by evaluating their participation in physical activities at school. And lastly, the sensory awareness. This criteria comprises of the capturing of sensory input for future usage, which can be seen through their responses towards the surroundings and environment.
Now we go to the negative effects of abandoning child development. First, we talk about the education aspect. Abandoning child development will stifle a child's potential. In the process of learning, children will encounter things they are interested in. They will learn some knowledge of master some skills. But if they ignore the education of children, they may lose this opportunity. Other than that, it will also lead to the formation of children's bad personality. If parents ignore their children's education in early childhood, it is easy for children to have personality problems, such as violence and abnormal psychological development. Once these problems are formed, they are difficult to change. The second aspect is mental health. If parents ignore their children's psychological construction when their children are young, it is easy to cause psychological distortion. They cannot get along with classmates at school, or they are exposed to some extreme behaviors at school. Because it is important to reduce their minds when their children are young. If parents are only busy with work and ignore their children's management, it is easy to cause some psychological problems. So in this case, if it is not managemented, it is easy to cause some extreme behaviors. For example, the emergence of school violence is due to the child's psychological distortion. The third aspect is on language. Abundant toddlers typically exhibit language and speech delays. They fail to use language to communicate with others, and also some do not talk at all. This cognitive delay can also affect social development, including the development of peer relationships, which is very important for their social development. The parents should always communicate with their child from an early age, because this can help avoid speech delays on them.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Mohamad Farid Muslim by Jasmani, metric number 2011627. Now I will present to you about the importance of understanding child development. First point is to ensure well-balanced development and hone his or her unique talents. This is important for parents so that they know the criteria or aspects that they need to emphasize on, like cognition aspect, reasoning, biological foundations, emotional, social, and moral development. Second point is to produce loving and caring parents. Children who have experienced understanding from the significant adults in their lives during their developmental years are much more likely to become loving and caring adults. Third point is that the first 6 years are the most critical. Children developed 85% of their core brain structure by the time they are 5 years old. The child will build on this core foundation throughout the rest of his life. Parents should know how to make sure their children's core brains are well developed. Fourth point is to build positive relationship between parents and children. When parents really understand the importance of their child's development, they know what they should do and they should not do, they will be kind to their children. Because nowadays, there are parents who don't really care about their child's development. In conclusion, child development is the sequence of physical, language, thought, and emotional changes that occur in a child from birth to the beginning of adulthood. During this process, from dependency on their parents or guardians to increasing independence. There are 7 stages of child development: newborn, infant, toddler, early childhood, middle childhood, late childhood, and adolescence. There are also 5 criteria of child development, which are cognitive, social interaction and emotional regulation, language, physical skills, and lastly, sensory awareness. Abandoning child development can lead to the formation of children's bad personality, cause speech delays, and distorts his or her psychological development. Last but not least, parents need to understand child development to ensure well-balanced developments of their children and to build good relationship between parents and their children. That's all from us. Thank you for your kind attention and for listening to our presentation. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.